Somewhere in your house, there's a photo of you as a baby. Someone is holding you. You are laughing or reaching for something just out of frame. You have no idea who took that photo. You were there, but you were not truly there. Where did that version of you go exactly? Here's the strange part. Your brain wasn't broken at all. Babies form memories every single day. They recognize a mother's voice. They flinch at a sound they've heard before. So the memories were made. Something else happened to them, and the real answer is far stranger than simple forgetting. Think about your own earliest memory right now. How old were you? For most people, it's between 3 and 4 years old. Anything before that is blank, not blurry. Gone, as if it never happened at all. Scientists call this infantile amnesia. Sigmund Freud was the first to describe it over a century ago, and he assumed your mind was repressing something on purpose, hiding it away to protect you. For decades, that idea stuck around. It felt like there had to be a reason something so total was happening inside every human being who has ever lived. But Freud was wrong about the mechanism. Modern research tells a very different story, and it starts with a question you've probably never asked. What actually is a memory at the physical level, inside your skull? A memory isn't a video file sitting in storage. It's a pattern. A specific set of neurons firing together, wiring themselves into a loop your brain can reactivate later. To remember something, you need two things. You need to encode it in the first place, and you need architecture stable enough to hold that pattern steady for years. Here's where it gets interesting. In the first few years of life, your brain is doing something almost violent. It is building itself. The hippocampus, the part most responsible for stitching moments into long-term memory, is still under construction. New neurons flood in. Old connections get pruned away at a staggering rate. Imagine saving a document on a computer that is rewiring its own hard drive every single night. That's roughly what's happening inside a toddler's head. Psychologist Patricia Bauer at Emory University has spent years studying exactly this. Her research shows young children can absolutely form memories, sometimes lasting months, but those memories are fragile. They depend on a hippocampus that hasn't finished growing its own filing system yet. So the memory forms, and then, as the brain restructures itself, it gets overwritten or loses its connection points. The road back to it gets paved over before you're old enough to memorize the route. There's another piece to this puzzle, and it has nothing to do with biology. It has to do with language. Carol Peterson, who has spent decades interviewing children about their earliest memories, found something remarkable. Children need language to organize an experience into something they can retrieve later as a story. Before you have words like yesterday or before, an experience doesn't get filed away as something you can narrate. It just gets felt, and then it dissolves, because there was no linguistic hook to hang it on. So why does the fog lift around age 3 or 4? Nora Newcomb, a cognitive psychologist, has pointed to something called the cognitive self. Around that age, children develop a stable sense of I, a continuous character who exists across time. Once that sense solidifies, memories finally have somewhere stable to attach, not just an event, but it's an event that happened to you, the same you who exists right now. Before that point, there was no consistent narrator in your head to file the story under. Here's the twist. Infantile amnesia isn't a flaw in your brain's design. It's a byproduct of the biggest construction project your brain will ever undertake. You weren't losing memories. You were paying the price of becoming a person capable of having them at all. And there's something almost beautiful hidden in the data. The memories that do survive from early childhood tend to be emotionally intense. A fall down the stairs, a trip to the ocean, the day a sibling was born, as if your still developing brain was triaging, keeping only the moments that mattered most, letting everything else go quietly. This says something about what memory actually is. For you, right now, at whatever age you are. Memory was never a passive recording device, simply capturing reality untouched. It was always a construction process, built out of language, emotion, and a sense of self stable enough to claim the experience as its own. So the next time you look at that photo of yourself as a baby, laughing at something you'll never recall, don't think of it as a memory that was stolen from you. Think of it as evidence of a construction site, a brain assembling the very architecture it would eventually use to hold on to you, the person reading these words, the one memory it finally learned how to keep.